Okay, so who do you think the next person Trump should fire should be?
I mean, is he out of women? Because that seems to be his pattern right now.
Donald Trump fired a bunch of people during his first term as president, but ever since the start of term number 2, he's been a little less aggressive with the whole canning his cabinet. That is, until recently when Trump remembered that he actually hates women. In the past few months alone, Trump has most notably fired Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, and Lori Chavez DeRemer, all of which who were high-ranking members of Trump's cabinet, and yet drunkards Kash Patel and Pete Kegsbreth are still on the federal payroll. Which isn't all that surprising. Like, yeah, we know, Trump is a sexist pig. Fork found in kitchen. However, in recent days, AOC and other congressional representatives have begun to absolutely flame the ever-loving shit out of Donald Trump's blatant sexism in some amazing ways, all of which was further highlighted when the White House posted this picture, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But before we get too far into this, be sure you subscribe to US Democratic Socialists for more good news like this you don't want to miss. All right, diving right in with this badass clip of AOC just tearing into Trump. Take a look.
Is he out of women? Because that seems to be his pattern right now.
It's Tulsi Gabbard.
Yeah, I mean, Trump only seems to have the capability to fire female secretaries.
Given all the clownish behavior we've seen out of like Pete Hegseth, Kash Patel, and all the rest, what's a man got to do to get fired in the Trump administration?
Exactly. I think what Kash Patel's done is 1,000 times worse than a lot of other people, but they've got it scot-free. I mean, for them, I think if you're a man in the Trump administration, it seems that they reward misconduct. So hard to tell. They don't seem to have a rhyme or a reason, unless it has to do with the Epstein file.
Now listen, Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi, they're awful, right? We know they should have never been in office in the first place. They should have never been hired. Fire them all, right? What do I care? But the differences in the way that the Trump administration treats women is so fucking beyond clear. It's apparent, right? Beyond the fact that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are literal sexual predators, the entire environment of the Trump 2.0 White House is this very hyper masculine, gender norm stereotypes, like super, that aesthetic is like not only ingrained into the White House environment in general, but it's also something they're trying to push on a cultural level, going back to the good old days, fighting for America. It's this very like white nationalist, back to the 1950s, very gender stereotype, women at home, men at work kind of idea that they're just trying to keep pushing, and it's very weird. And AOC isn't the only congresswoman talking about this. Here is Representative Sarah McBride also going in on Trump. Take a look.
So, Congresswoman, who do you think, from all of the sort of clownish behavior we've seen of the Trump administration, who do you think the next one to get fired is going to be?
Well, all of them deserve to be fired. I'm supporting impeachment of Pete Hegseth because obviously right now we are engaged in a reckless war of choice that he was a primary driver of. But we know this president, he only fires women, so my guess is Tulsi Gabbard.
Got it. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Thank you.
And just as the sexist defenders of Trump and the GOP were trying to cry foul on these people and say that they're liars and stupid and it's fake news and whatever else, saying like, oh no, Trump, he talks about women all the time. He loves women. He says they're beautiful. I mean, he's had like 6 wives. So, he has to love women, right? Well, just as they were saying all of that, these complaints were further legitimized when the White House posted this photo celebrating the University of Georgia's tennis team, which, if you look at this photo, what do you notice? Well, yeah, what do you see? Because to me, I see a bunch of women standing in the background behind a bunch of fucking loser dork men who are standing in front of them. And thankfully, the administration is getting some serious flack online for this ridiculous photo op. Take a look.
You know what they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And I think that this photo just posted by the White House does just that. This is a photo of the Georgia women's tennis team meeting with President Trump at the White House. And you would think that someone at the White House would have enough brain cells to maybe put the women that they're celebrating front and center in the photo op. But no, they decided to put the men in the front and push the women all the way to the back. And keep in mind that this is the same crowd who claims that they genuinely care about women's sports and keeping men out of women's sports. And yet, they put the women all the way in the back, so you have to squint because you can barely see them. Sadly, this isn't all that surprising, considering Trump is the same guy who joked about having to invite the U.S. women's hockey team to the White House. But I guess this photo is a pretty good representation of Trump's attitude toward women.
Yeah, and she raises such a good point. The screaming and pissing and shitting about women's sports and caring so much about it and making it like a central point of so many campaigns and then going on to like post this disrespect to the women's tennis team is all too common for conservatives, right? I mean, again, being hypocritical, being sexist, being a nasty, dirty, filthy pig, fork found in kitchen for the GOP. But just for the record, this is how the Trump administration celebrated men who won something. Director of the FBI and still very much employed, by the way. Not to mention that Donald Trump's approval rating amongst women during his second term is at like the bottom of the ocean. It is in the Marianas Trench of approval ratings, right? Like, look at some of these numbers. Women 18 to 22, negative 54 for Trump. Women 23 to 29, negative 47. Women to 30 to 34 are negative 46. The guy is so goddamn unpopular across the board, but especially with women voters, the guy is just unmatched levels. He's putting up like anti-LeBron numbers right now. He's cooking in all the wrong ways. The thing about all of this, though, this whole thing with Trump and women is that we know, right? We know that Trump is a sexist pig. We've known it for decades, actually, far before Donald Trump ever ran for office. He's always been this perverted shit stain of a human being, and his links with Epstein only further solidify that point. But nonetheless, I do believe that it is still very important to discuss this reality, right? To make it abundantly apparent to every single person that, yeah, on top of being racist, a defender of billionaires and millionaires, and being a xenophobic piece of shit, Trump is also sexist, right? But on top of all of that, I think it's also important to highlight the women that piss off Trump and his rabid sexist MAGA base. AOC has this great quote. She says, "The idea that a woman can be as powerful as a man is something that our society can't deal with. But I am as powerful as a man, and it drives them crazy." Yeah, these backward crypt keepers of human beings can't handle the reality that a woman is smarter than them, better than them at something, stronger than them. They just collapse, right? Just like RFK when he got fucking schooled by AOC at a hearing on Tuesday. And these pictures went online, and everybody was talking about them. And when asked what this exchange was about, AOC had this to say.
We're in a time where all of our healthcare is getting defunded, people are committing crimes, and people are getting denied their health insurance, people are getting denied surgeries, medicines, prescriptions are super expensive, and this administration is responsible for it and rewarding them for it. And we have to bring it to a stop.
It's just pulling no punches. It's so badass. We need this exact energy. We need these fighters. We need energy like this in our leadership. And just because I want to, and I'm not over the Artemis mission at all yet, seriously, I'm not over it. Hold on. Seriously, I love the Artemis mission. It's so cool. It's so cool. Anyway, I want to talk for a second about another badass woman, Christina Koch, who was the first woman to ever leave low Earth orbit, by the way. New footage from the Artemis mission was just released a couple days back that shows Koch recording the reflection of Earthshine on her face with a goddamn iPhone. Take a look.
Like, if anything isn't making sense,
you're
give me a holler.
wondering, the light that you see on my face is Earthshine. And that is the beautiful Earth in the window.
It's just so fucking cool. And yes, this was an excuse for me to just share this video and talk about how awesome the entire Artemis team is, while also pissing off sexist conservatives who will never be nearly as cool as Christina Koch. But sue me. That's what I wanted to do. There we go, right? I mean, it's just so badass. It's so cool, and Trump and his rabid MAGA fan base just has to deal with that fact. So, you know what? 2 of these for them, right? And that's it. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. Kind of got a little derailed a bit there, but, you know, I'm never going to pass up an opportunity to talk about space and also just dunk on sexist conservatives. So, you know, why not, right? Why not? But I think that's going to do it. Be sure you subscribe to U.S. Democratic Socialist down below for more news like this, and also leave a like on this video and comment your thoughts. I would love to hear about them. So do all that good stuff and have a great day. I'm Iago Lashua. Good day. Goodbye. Whoa. Good day. Goodbye. Goodbye. Good day. Have a good one. Peace out.